humans to operate on this. It's basically internal Kubernetes structures that's used in Kubernetes API. And if you look at it, it's 45 lines for just simple one container exposing one port. So we thought that we can do better and have something that's simpler and still as powerful as this, and something that will be easier for regular people to write and modify. So we came up with this. This is catch file, catch structure. It's based on Kubernetes definitions, and you can see now it's just 9 lines. So that's 5 times smaller file, and it's equivalent. It does exactly the same thing as this does. And if you look at this for the first time, I bet you can pretty well understand what's happening there. There is name, so it's probably naming something. I have deployments, replicas. I'm defining container that I want to use. I'm defining ports that I want to expose, and endpoint that will be probably host name that I want to use. So that's the same thing, and it's 9 lines, just compared to this. So catch uses much less complicated structure. It looks really straightforward. If you see catch file for the first time, you pretty well understand it, or you can understand at least the basic stuff. But with Kubernetes, it's not that easy. Like if you see Kubernetes definitions for the first time, what the hell is happening there? So catch has some other nice features, like there are smart defaults. By that mean, I think that follows best practices. So there is best practices guide for Kubernetes applications. For example, in OpenShift, there is good practice to use label application. And OpenShift UI, OpenShift Web Console, will group all the resources according to that label. So catch does this automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry that you forget to label some of your resources, and it will do that for you. So there are shortcuts. So that's here the endpoint. That's basically a shortcut that will generate the whole ingress definition for you. So if you have just simple ingress, you don't have to define the whole complicated structure. You just use this, and it will take care of everything. I also created LSP integration, language server protocol. So if you have editor, like VS Code, Eclipse, or any other editor that has language server protocol, you can use Catch plugin, and it will provide you with auto completion and highlighting of the errors. So if you mess something up, it will show you, and I will show you that in the demo how it works. There is also environment variables. You can put environment variables inside Catch files, so you can parameterize your files. So that's also really helpful, and I will have demo for that. And you don't have to repeat yourself. So that means that you don't have to write multiple times what you have to write. Basically, it's better explained here in an example. So if I want to, for example, add version label to my application, I will have to add it to every single object that my application uses, or my application defined by all those objects. So I will have to edit in every place. That means finding right place for that, putting it there, making sure that I don't do any typos, or I don't forget anything. So I would end up with inconsistency there. And with Catch, because it's a little bit different and designed with this in mind, you just need to do this. So there is name and labels on root level. That means that what's defined on the root level gets propagated into all the objects that are defined in the given file. So I don't have to provide name or labels for each of my deployments, for each of my services on ingress. I will do it only in one place, and it will be injected in all the others. But if I want to have deployments that has different name, I can do that. I just put name into deployments, and I will have deployment with different name, but all rest of the objects will have the common name that's defined on top. So that's the basic stuff, and now I will try to do some demo. So I have Minikube running here. Guess it's empty. And yeah, I have opened it here. So this is a file that's similar to what I had in the slides, but there's one difference, and that's this ingress host in double square brackets. That's variable inside catch file. We are using double square brackets because it's look kind of weird, but there's a reason for that, because we don't want to collide with variables in Openshift templates or in Helm charts, because we have also support for Helm. So I know it looks strange, but yeah. It is what it is. And that's it. That's the same files with variable. So now I can do catch, apply, -f, and my file. And now see, now it's complaining because I haven't provided value for ingress host variable. You can also have default values for variables in catch file. But here, because it's not defined with default value, I have to provide it. Let's do nginx minikube local. I think yeah, it's readable. Now, so from that simple file, I've created 3 objects: service, ingress, and deployment. If I look at the ingress, you can see that here it uses the host that I have provided via variable. Now you can check if it really works. Let's see, it's working. So from that simple definition, I've created deployment, ingress service, and see that all pods are running. So this is really nice, but it's simple. So let me show you something a little bit more complicated. So I have prepared a guestbook application. That's a 3-tier application. There is a front-end, back-end, and database. Front-end is in Angular, back-end is Golang REST API, and back-end is MongoDB. So this is how definition for back-end looks like. It's pretty straightforward, and if you are seeing this for the first time, I bet you can pretty much understand what's happening there. There is this image. I'm using environments from secret and config map that are defined in database file. This is the database. There are config maps, secrets, and I don't want to lose any data, so I have here a persistent volume, a volume claim. This will create persistent volume claim in Kubernetes. So that's my backend. In catch, there is catch generate command that will show you what catch will deploy in raw Kubernetes. So that's basically what will be generated from that catch file. If you check, that's 145 lines for raw Kubernetes. So if I would want to define this in Kubernetes, I would have to write or somehow produced, maybe copy paste from another example, but I will have to deal with 145 lines. In catch definition and in catch syntax, that's 51 lines. So that's 94 lines that I don't have to write. And not just that I don't have to write it, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to, like, if I'm modifying something, if I have less code to read and find something, that's better. I can find easier stuff that I want to find there. So now let's try to deploy this. You can see that a lot of objects were created from that. It looks a little bit weird. It's creating, and yeah, it's running now. So we can check if backend is running. Yeah, it's running okay. It connected and it's listening on the port 300. So that's nice. And now let's go try to deploy our front end. And here I would like to show you something cool that we have done. That we have wrote Catch plugin for the Helm. So you can use Catch files inside your Helm charts. If you are not familiar with Helm is, so Helm is basically it's package manager for Kubernetes, and Helm charts are packages. So it's like Helm is like Yum, for example, and Helm charts are RPM packages in that analogy. So you can use Catch files inside Helm charts and generate valid Helm chart packages. So here I've prepared one for my guestbook, and there is Catch file inside the Helm chart definition. It looks like this. And again, pretty simple, straightforward. There is a variable for image digest, because originally I wanted to show you Catch can also do builds. And I want to show you build, but we don't have time for that, so I've prepared build beforehand. And I will use just this hash of an image. Now I can do Helm, Catch, we want to use Catch plugin inside Helm, package, and guestbook, my Helm chart. So this will create Helm package here, and this variable was used. So inside this Helm package, it's generated Kubernetes with this image. Now I can take this, I can share it with someone, or I can upload it to a repository, or I can install it. So I will do that right now. Helm install, and it's installed. So it's deployed. Let's check ingress. We have another ingress here. That's guestbook. I don't know. Let's see if it's working, and it's actually working. So I have my backend, frontend, and database deployed. And if I look at just Catch files, it's just a few lines of the definitions. If I would have to deal with all the Kubernetes, it would be really messy. So this is the kind of basic stuff here. Let me go back to the slides. So there is a lot more in Catch than what I've shown you right now. So we have also full Openshift support, so you can define S2I builds or build configs inside Catch files. You can do deployment configs, routes, image streams. We have also more shortcuts. I've shown you just the ingress one, the endpoint that generates ingress. There are also convenient keys that will help you do port mappings or the health checks. So if your application uses liveliness probe and readiness probe that are the same, in Catch you can define just one, and it will basically use them as for both probes. As I mentioned, Catch can do builds. I can do S2I builds inside OpenShift cluster, or just normal local Docker builds. And there is also Catch init function that will help you bootstrap your file. So you give it the name of your application, image, and ports, and it will generate the basic structure for you. So what we are planning for the future, we want to add to Catch. I want to do more shortcuts like triggers for OpenShift deployment config. Because if you have ever dealt with OpenShift deployment config, the triggers configuration it's kind of complicated. And if you just want to do basic stuff, like if you just want to have trigger for image stream change, it's like four lines that you have to define there. And we would like to make it a little bit shorter. And also with environment variables, because if you are using environment variables and you are using a value from or referencing some other values from config map or secrets, it can get also quite complicated even for easy stuff in raw Kubernetes. So that we would like to change and make it a little bit easier also. We like to do smart builds. It means that you just do catch build and you give it your source code, and it will detect if it should use S2I build or Docker build based on what's your in source code, and also what you are running. So if you have connection to Kubernetes cluster or Openshift cluster, it should automatically choose what to use. And similar stuff we would like to do with catch init. So you do catch init and you give it the source code, and it will automatically generate a catch file for you. It will detect what language you are using, what images you are using, and it will do the most of the stuff for you. So you don't have to write it, you just have to modify it if you want to change something. And because it's easier structure in raw Kubernetes, it's easier to change something there. So I was a little bit quicker. So this is our GitHub page and our web page. Try it if you are interested in it. Like it, hate it, but tell us about it. We would like every feedback that we can get. And if we have a little bit of time, I think we have 5 minutes. Yep. I can try to do some Openshift demo very quickly and show you the builds. Or we can do any questions, if there are questions, that might be better. Yeah.
Can it inline some Kubernetes YAML? Because we have some custom HA extension.
Yep. So the question was if you can inline Kubernetes YAMLs, for example, for CRDs, like that. Yeah. Yeah, there is include resources key that you can use, and you can inline any YAML file inside it. And that's actually meant for something that it's not in cache or for CRDs, because if you have CRDs, that cache doesn't understand it. So we can do that. Any other questions? Yep.
When you use OC, you got the OC UR commands that also creates a lot of objects for you. So I understand that you want the stuff to be Kubernetes generic, maybe. So do you consider adding this cache functionality to the creator command directly?
Adding OC new app functionality to. So the question was if we are considered contributing this to upstream, basically to kubectl. Yeah. Not really right now at this point. We don't want to tie it to Kubernetes release cycles in any way. So right now it's easier for us to develop it separately. In future we might consider that, but there is also big discussion in Kubernetes community that they should refactor kubectl and maybe figure out something better, because they know that kind of sucks right now. So we don't consider that. Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you consider it a UI for it?
Yeah.
UI for cache?
So the question was if we considered UI for cache. Not right now. That's the question. No, we haven't considered, because we discussed that, but we think that the developers don't want to click, and this is really complicated, and create UI for something that's complicated as this, it will be really hard. So it will be either a really complicated UI that will be, you will spend a lot of time clicking through it, if even we will be able to create something like that. So no, we think right now that it's better to deal with text files like this. Any questions, Sarah? For instance, so I can try still do the Openshift demo. So while Openshift is starting, So here's front end for OpenShift. That's exactly the same. Only change here is that it uses deployment config instead of deployments. So this I will just deploy. And for backend, here's something a little bit more interesting. This is backend definition, and you can see here is image is empty. And this is because we will use image stream for that and build config. I will just deploy this. Let's check OpenShift console. Come on. Yes. So here you can see that it's deployed, front end it's running, but it's not going to work because backend is still waiting for deployments. And in catch, we have catch build command. It looks like this. It's a little bit similar to what OC build and OC start build does, but it basically makes it easier. You define that you want to do S2I builds. You want to that you name of your image and build the image for S2I. This is just basic stuff that we have right now, so we have to choose if you want to do S2I builds like this, or if you omit the S2I flag, it will do just regular Docker build. And this is the thing that we want to do in the future, that we want to make it smarter so you don't have to worry about that. And you want also detect automatically image name and possibly builder image, something what OC does. But currently we don't have that, so you have to specify that. So I'll just run it. This will automatically create image stream and build config, and it will start build with. Okay, that failed. And it will start build. Oh yeah, I broke it. And it will start build. And it will stream the local directory to the build config. Yeah, this is how ad hoc demo looks like. It broke. Yeah.
Did you consider the feature that you will put with Kubernetes YAML and it will generate a small catch for it?
Yeah, we considered it also. It's on a roadmap. Yeah, but yeah, we consider that. So the question was if we considered a feature that we would generate from raw Kubernetes sketch files, and yeah, it's something that we will work on that sooner. Oh, that's all from me.